Alrighty, welcome back everyone to Phasmophobia. Hope you're all having a lovely day. We are going to cover Point Hope in today's hiding guide, the 11th part of this playlist. Point Hope is arguably one of the hardest maps for hiding, especially if you are playing on higher difficulties. Really, the only way you can effectively hide from the ghost is if you make distance from the ghost itself. If you are entering a hiding spot, ensure that your equipment is turned off and that the ghost does not see you enter the hiding spot. Just like the other videos in this playlist, there will be two parts, the first of which is an overview of the map with all of the hiding spots, and the second part is the gameplay. They are all timestamped so you can skip ahead if you like, but without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so here we are on Point Hope, and we will get started with the first floor over here. And you do have quite a few options available, but not all of them are good. So you enter the lighthouse through here, and the first hiding spot that you see is this closet over here. And let's talk about all three of these at once here, because there are some flaws associated with these spots here. On Tanglewood, Edgefield, and Ridgeview, there are closets available that you can hide in, and all you do is hold the door shut in on yourself and you'll be pretty safe. And even if the ghost does an event on you, even if a wraith teleports on you in those spots, you are pretty safe in those spots, just as long as your electronics are off and that you are not talking. Now, these spots here have a critical flaw with them, and that flaw is simple. Sometimes the ghost likes to set a waypoint inside of these spots here, and that is a problem because you can do everything correctly inside of all three of these spots here, and you can still randomly die for no reason. And because the ghost can set waypoints in those spots, then you are always in some level of danger. And so if the wraith teleports, or if a ghost events on you, or even if you just have a really fast ghost during a hunt, then make sure you have incense on you when you are hiding in these hiding spots. Because, especially with these ones here, the ghost likes to walk right through the door and just get you. And then this one over here, it will go through the door, get line of sight of you, and you're done. And the reason why this spot here is better than this one and this one is because this closet here is parallel to the hallway. And oftentimes the ghost will just go here or back and forth, and it won't even consider this spot here. But sometimes the ghost can roam inside of this spot and it will get you. So those spots are not the safest. This spot over here, the tent is actually pretty okay. And this works just like the tents on Maple Lodge and Camp Woodwind. You just close the flap at the bottom and you'll be pretty safe. Just make sure your equipment is off as well. And then this spot over here, I would feel better hiding there than over here. And the reason is simple. There is a chest that is right about here, and it is open. So the only way the ghost will get line of sight of you is if it goes right about here. And given how big the room is, you are pretty safe in that hiding spot. And the odds of the ghost going there are pretty low. Going to the kitchen up here, you only have one spot available, and it is also not the safest because sometimes the ghost will go over here or get too close over here, and then it will just get you. And then going to the third floor up here, you do have a hiding spot right here by the stairs, and there are some crates just set up like this, and they do block line of sight. However, sometimes the ghost will path inside of this spot, so be careful when hiding there. There are a couple of times where the ghost just walked inside of this hiding spot on its own, and it has got me before, so be careful when hiding here. Going on to the fourth floor, there is no official hiding spots. Same with the fifth floor, but on the sixth floor, there is an official hiding spot available, and this one is pretty solid. So this one, there is a divider kind of set up like that, and you just kind of hide right about here. During my testing, the ghost rarely went into that spot, and the only way I got the ghost to go in there is by having like a Thay at 150 speed, overshooting, and going inside of here. And the odds of that happening are pretty low. And even if you do have a Thay at 150 speed, you can still be pretty safe in that spot as well. And then going to the seventh floor, the kids' bedroom, there is a wardrobe available right here. And this works just like the Tanglewood closets. So you can hide in there and be pretty safe in there. The eighth floor, the workshop, and you do have a locker available. And that just works like any other locker on any of the other maps. Going to the ninth floor, and you do have a little board over here that you can hide behind right here. And this is okay. It's not the safest because sometimes the ghost will path into your hiding spot over here. But overall, if I have that hiding spot available, I won't feel like it's the end of the world. And there is no official hiding spot on the 10th floor. But with that out of the way, let's go check out the unofficial hiding spots. All right, so here we are on the unofficial hiding spots, and things are looking a little grim, just like Camp Woodwind. We'll just briefly show you all of them all at once, and then we'll get right into it. All right, so here we are on the main floor here, and we do have a looping spot available right here, and that one blocks line of sight pretty well. Just be careful of the bench here. It might get in the way of you looping. And over here, you do have some couches that you can kind of loop around, but they're not the safest, and they are pretty tight together. And it is kind of a weird shape as well. And then going into the kitchen upstairs, and you do have another looping spot right here. And there is a stool that's kind of on its side there. Just be careful when looping there. But otherwise, you can get a good visual of the ghost underneath the table. And then right here, you do have a safe spot available, but there is a condition with this safe spot. You must have an electronic active on you. So it can be your flashlight, it can be your EMF, it can be whatever. Now, if you are using a photo camera or a video camera, be careful, because if you do disable the night vision on the video camera, or you take a photo with the photo camera, then the electronic would be considered off, and then the ghost will just kill you. So be careful when using those electronics. And then all you would do is you would just jam yourself into either this corner or this corner, and then you'll be safe from the ghost. However, if the official hiding spot is enabled, you are only able to use this corner as the safe spot. Because what happens with the official hiding spot is there is a board right here that is kind of intruding inside of the shelf there, and that is enough to get the player killed. So you only want to hide right here when the official spot is available, but if that official spot is disabled, you can hide in this corner as well. Going on to the 3rd floor, the dining area, and you do have a couple of options available. You can loop around this little wine rack there, and it will block line of sight perfectly. There are no obstructions on the floor to worry about, so you are safe looping there. This looping spot can work, but you will be getting line of sight with a ghost. So be careful when looping there. And then if you need to hide at all, you can either hide behind these little seats here, and it will block line of sight, or you can hide in this little corner there, and the ghost will not see you through the railings here, but be careful when the ghost goes into this half of the room, because it will get line of sight of you. Same with this spot over here. If the ghost is in this little half of the room here, then it will see you. And then moving on to the 4th floor up here, the games room, and there are also a couple of spots available. You can also loop around this pillar here, but the pillar is a bit narrower, and there are more opportunities to get line of sight of the ghost. And there's also this pool table over here, which is probably the better looping spot. And you can even use this spot over here as a hiding spot. And if you want to use the pool table as a hiding spot, just make sure to hide right about here so the ghost does not get line of sight of you from going up and down these stairs here. You can also hide under the stairs here a little bit, and you would just line up this guitar here with the corner of the stairs there, and you should be somewhat safe, just as long as the ghost doesn't go into this half of the room. But the odds of that happening are pretty high, so maybe I wouldn't use that as a hiding spot, but it is there if you want to use it. And you can use this hiding spot, which is probably better than this one, but this one over here, the ghost will have to go into this half of the room to see you. And just like with the one on the 3rd floor, the ghost will not be able to see you going up and down the stairs. The 5th floor over here, you do have some spots available. You do have a looping spot at that tub there, and this little divider over here will block line of sight. But if you are looping elsewhere, then you will not be blocking line of sight. And also, you can hide behind this little cabinet over here, and that one is okay, but sometimes the ghost will path to the back of the bathroom here, and it just will get line of sight of you right there. And this is the part where the rooms are getting narrower as well, so be careful when you're on the upper floors. The 6th floor, and things are looking a little sketchy. With the master bedroom over here, you do have a bed that you can climb on from this side over here. And all you do is just go back and forth here, and it will force the ghost to go back and forth right here. And you can get a good visual of the ghost that way. But that spot may get patched at some point, so it will probably not be viable being in the master bedroom anymore. But there are these spots over here, which can block line of sight, but this spot here will block line of sight to about here. And if the ghost is over here or over here, then the ghost won't get you. But if it crosses that line there, then it will get you in this spot here. And same thing over here. If you're hiding right here, then the ghost will have to be on this half of the room to see you. And the odds of that happening are pretty high. And that's because the room is pretty small. And going into the kid's bedroom on the 7th floor, and it's getting smaller and smaller. There is a wardrobe right here, and you can just hide beside it right there. And the ghost will have to go right about here to see you. If you are able to open the wardrobe doors, then this spot would be a lot better. But the hiding spot is locked, so you are unable to do that. And so it is getting a lot sketchier. Now going onto the 8th floor up here, and you do have the locker, and the locker is not locked, thankfully. So what you would do is you would just open the door over here, just kind of like this, and then you would close this door in on yourself like that, using the triangle method, and the ghost will not get line of sight of you. However, sometimes the ghost will path into your hiding spot on its own, so be careful when hiding there. And that's because the room size is quite small. The 9th floor has really only one option available. You can hide beside this little railing over here, and the ghost won't be able to see you going up and down the stairs here. But given how small this room is, the ghost has a pretty high chance of going over here and seeing you. This spot, I wouldn't really feel safe here unless I have absolutely no other options available. And then we'll go to the 10th floor up here, and the only option you have is outside on the balcony here. And the glass that separates the beacon from the balcony, it does block line of sight, so you can get a good visual while looping the ghost there. But as you might have noticed, there are no good hiding spots on Point Hope. And so really the only suggestion I have for Point Hope is if the ghost is hunting, then try to be as far away from the ghost as possible if you want to be safe. But if you are close to the ghost, then make sure you have incense on you and you try to break as much line of sight as you can. And because of the lack of hiding areas and line of sight blockers on this map, it is probably one of the hardest maps to hide on. And especially if you are playing on higher difficulties, this map can be absolutely aggravating to play on. But we will get into the gameplay and see how each of these hiding spots perform. Alright, so we'll get started with the official hiding spots on Point Hope, and let's start with the one behind the front door here. So what you would do is you would enter the closet here, close the door in on yourself, and you should be safe. And the keyword is should. Because what tends to happen with this hiding spot here is that the ghost likes to set a waypoint in here sometimes, and then it will just kill you randomly in this hiding spot. So effectively what this door is just a line of sight blocker. That's it. Whereas on Tanglewood, Edgefield, or Ridgeview, if you have the closets or the lockers available, then the ghost will not be able to hunt on top of you if it does an event, and also the ghost does not randomly go into your hiding spot when you're hiding in a closet. So the Point Hope closets are not looking too good. Same with this shower over here. The ghost sometimes likes to randomly go inside of this shower over here, and on top of all of that, the problem with that closet and this shower over here is exaggerated even more if the ghost is fast. So if you're dealing with a Thay or a Moroi, or even if you're on 150% ghost speed, then you're going to have more problems with these hiding spots. And then we will get to the closet over here, and it has the same problems as this one. However, this one is a little bit safer because this closet is parallel to this hallway over here. And that's the only reason why this closet is a bit better than these hiding spots over here. Whereas this one, the ghost can just walk right in here, if it's fast especially. Same with this one, the ghost can just randomly walk in here. this one will often just walk by the closet here. That being said, if the ghost does an event on you in this spot or in any of the showers or the closets over there, and it's ready to hunt, you need to be ready to run, because if it hunts on you in that closet or shower, then you are pretty much dead. And then the tent over here, inside of the living room over here, is actually not a bad hiding spot. All you do is lift up this flap, close it in on yourself, and you should be relatively safe. And this works very similarly to the tents on Maple Lodge and Camp Woodwind. Just make sure you're not holding this closed, and if the ghost does try to open it, then make sure you quickly close it, because it will get line of sight of you otherwise. And then the last hiding spot in the living room is this one over here. This one I actually feel much safer in than the closets over there. All you do is just hide behind this little chest over here, and for the ghost to see you, it would have to go right about here. And the odds of that happening are pretty low, but it is not impossible for it to happen. Then we will get to the kitchen over here, and we do have one official hiding spot available, which is underneath this little shelf here. You just hide behind this board over here, and this does block line of sight. However, I find that whenever the ghost goes like right here, it will see you, and then it will get you. Or sometimes the ghost likes to path like right here, and then it just gets you anyways. And another thing I don't like about this hiding spot here is that the ghost can just walk right through this entire shelf here. However, we'll come back to this shelf later because this can also be a safe spot as well. And then we'll make our way up to the dining room up here, and we do have one official spot behind these little crates here. You just hide in this little corner right here, and the odds of the ghost going into this spot here are on the low side, but it is not impossible. Sometimes if the ghost likes to set a waypoint over here, it will check the other side, go over here, and then see you and then get you. So not the safest hiding spot, but it is better than some of the ones in the entrance there. The games room up here does not have an official hiding spot, but we'll come back to that in the unofficial hiding spot section. Same thing with the bathroom up here. There are unofficial hiding spots available, but we'll come back to that later. And then making our way up into the master bedroom over here, you do have a spot behind this little divider over here. And this spot, during my testing, has actually been pretty good. Most often, the ghost will just go to the end of here. It wouldn't see you past this little divider over here, and then it just goes elsewhere. I find that the only way for the ghost to get to you in this hiding spot is if the ghost is really fast on 150 speed. So if you need a hiding spot that is decent, then this one is pretty good. And then going up into the kid's bedroom up here, and you do have another one up here. It's actually in this little wardrobe right here. And this one I find performs like the Tanglewood closets. You just hold the door shut in on yourself and you'll be pretty safe. And then into the workshop here, we do have some lockers up here, and these work like the lockers on the other maps as well. So you can just hold the door shut and be pretty safe here. And then on the 9th floor up here, we do have one official spot right here. This one's okay, but sometimes the ghost will just path in here randomly and it will get you. So if you do hide here, be careful. And that is it for the official spots. We will now go into the unofficial spots and see how they all perform. All right, and now we're on to the unofficial hiding spots, and this is where things get real sketchy. Now, as you can see, the closet doors are locked, so you are unable to use them in any way. Same with the shower doors and this closet over here. And even this tent over here, the flap is gone. So you can't even use this tent flap to your advantage. So where do you hide now? Now let's start with the living room here, and you do have a couple of options available, and they're not great. And they are all looping spots. So you can loop around this little pillar over here, and it will block line of sight. But keep in mind, there are objects in the way, and they might hurt your looping performance. Same with this chair over here. You can loop around this chair for a little bit, but this little table over here can cause you to get line of sight with a ghost. Same with this chair over here. And then going up into the kitchen up here, and we're coming back to this shelf over here. And all you do is squish yourself into this corner here, or this corner right here. And make sure you have your electronics on for this, because this will make this spot a safe spot. Now, if you have your electronics off, the ghost will kill you. So that's why it's important to have the electronics on in either of these two spots. Now, if the official hiding spot here is enabled, then you can only hide on this side here with the electronics on, because there is a board on this side here that is preventing the player from going a little further into this corner. However, that being said, this spot is probably going to get patched at some point. And then we have this little table over here, which you can loop around. Just be careful of the stools that are on the floor here, because they will collide into you and they will get in the way. But also, you don't have to do a full loop around. You can just do a partial loop around and then move accordingly with the ghost. So if the ghost is going clockwise, then you also go clockwise, and vice versa. Next, we will go upstairs into the dining room, and we do have another looping spot over here. And this works similarly to the kitchen island there, but you don't have any obstacles in the way. And this table does work as a looping spot as well. However, keep in mind, if you are looping the ghost here, it will speed up with line of sight. So be careful if you are looping here. And we'll now get into the hiding spots here. You can kind of hide here, but it's not great because sometimes the ghost will just path into this half of the dining room and then it will just get line of sight of you. Same thing with this little cabinet over here. If it goes into this half of the dining room, then it will see you. But you can also hide behind these little chairs here, and the ghost will not get line of sight of you. Just move your character accordingly with the ghost. And then we will go into the games room upstairs, and we do have something similar to the dining room downstairs. And let's start off with this little pole right here. You can also use this as a looping spot, and you don't have a whole lot of stuff that's in the way either. Just keep in mind that it is not as thick as the wine rack downstairs, so you might have more opportunities of getting line of sight with a ghost. However, this pool table over here is a bit better for looping, and all you do is crouch and it will not speed up with line of sight of you. And if you want to hide behind the pool table over here, make sure you're hiding like right about here, because the ghost will not be able to see you over top of the railing here, whereas over here it will. So be careful where you're choosing to hide. You can also kind of hide behind this guitar over here. Just make sure that the guitar case is lined up with the corner of that stairs there, because if you hide right here, then the ghost will get line of sight of you. So it is important to line this up with the corner right here to prevent line of sight, but it does not stop the ghost from going to this side of the room here. And same with this hiding spot over here. You can hide in this little corner here, and the ghost will not be able to see you when it's going up the stairs or going up and down the stairs over here. The only way the ghost will see you is if it goes into this half of the room here. Next, we will go upstairs into the bathroom, and we do have a couple of spots. We do have a bit of a looping spot at this tub over here, and all you do is just crouch and loop, and you should be relatively okay. Just keep in mind that the ghost will get line of sight of you over top of the tub here. But otherwise, this looping spot is pretty okay. And if you need to hide, this little cabinet over here, you can hide relatively safely over here. But just keep in mind, if the ghost does go over to this part of the bathroom, then it will see you. Next, we will go into the master bedroom, and we do have a couple of spots available. A couple of the spots are kind of meh, but we do have a shimmy spot available on this bed here. And to use the shimmy spot, you just climb up on this corner over here, and you just go back and forth with the ghost here. Or if you do not want to use a safe spot, you can either hide right here, and the ghost will have to go all the way over here to see you, or you can also hide right here, which means the ghost will have to go into this half of the room to see you. But either way, this spot and this spot are not the safest, and it gets even more dangerous upstairs. Because with the kid's bedroom over here, you really only have this spot over here to hide behind, and this little wardrobe over here is locked. And the one benefit to this spot over here compared to this spot over here is over here, you have a bit more reaction time to cleanse the ghost. So if you are hiding in this bedroom over here, I would hide beside this little wardrobe over here. And then we will go into the workshop, and there is really only one spot that is good, and that is this locker over here. You can use the triangle method in on yourself, and you should be relatively safe. However, keep in mind, this room is kind of small, and it does not stop the ghost from just walking into your hiding spot here, but it is a pretty solid line of sight blocker. And you can also kind of loop the ghost around this staircase over here. And then next we will go into the 9th floor, and the ghost is playing with the gas tanks, and we really only have one okay-ish spot, but it's not the safest, and it's right in this corner right here. The ghost will not be able to see you through the railings here, and oftentimes the ghost will path into this area over here. So be careful if you are hiding on the 9th floor. And then we get to the 10th floor, and you really only have this looping area over here. So all you really do is loop around the top of the lighthouse here, and the ghost will not see you through the glass here. But you can get a decent visual with the ghost as well. And that is it for Point Hope. Just like in the other hiding guides, if you have any questions, feel free to post them down below and I will answer them as soon as I can. The final map we will cover in this playlist, and important for the Apocalypse Challenge, is Sunny Meadows, where there are a lot of decent options available, even if all hiding spots are disabled, so stay tuned for that. And that is all that I have for you for today. Hope that this was helpful and informative, and until then, I will see you next time.